Hi, this is Himanshi. Welcome to thewoman.com. We have Pragatti Ra with us. Pragatti Ra is Director of EduConcepts India Initiatives. She's specializing in adolescent training and behavioral and educational issues. Um, this is with reference to the recent incidents of suicides by students in India. So we have very bright students committing suicide just because they are not able to clear their entrance examinations, NEET. And we had one recent incident about a UPSC student aspirant who just committed suicide because it was last attempt and he was denied entrance entry to the examination hall. So, Pragati, this is very disheartening, and definitely this issue is worth talking about and try to find some solutions to it. So, what's your take on it? Who is to take the blame for it? Is it the education system, or entrance exam management, or the parent society? What's your say on this?
First of all, thank you, Himanshi, for inviting me over to talk about this. Yes, this is very disheartening. Believe me, when we see such bright students getting into something like this, it pains. Not just for a parent, but as a society also, it is very disheartening. Well, when we talk of who is to be blamed, I would say it's everybody. Everybody has their own role to play here. If you look at education, where is all those values and life skills which were being taught when we were young adults? When we were coping up, we never had to look out, or we never had to search for, any people outside our own comfort zone for any kind of counseling like this. So counseling in that time was not even available like that. If you also look at the parenting, the parents are too busy these days, and they are busy for a reason. If you look at the education, the way the tuition centers are coming up as a parallel business, there comes a point in time where after that class, say class 6, if your child is going for a tuition, of course there's a cost to it, of course there's an effort to it, and the parent has to run, or rather work a little harder to get into those kind of monetary aspects and a lot of logistics, etc. So yes, we have our education system to blame, we have our parenting to blame, and we have to blame the excessive speed at which everything is moving these days.
So how to help? Like what steps you suggest these parents to first of all address their own anxiety about it, and also to help their own children prevent from taking such extreme steps and taking their lives?
See, there are a lot of things which can be, this is in fact a wonderful topic that could be really talked about at length. But if we talk of a few things that could be done, of course, the parents have to be proactively looking into giving them strategies. Half of the time, the parent is juggling between work and family life and their tuitions and whatnot, that they don't get time enough to sit down and talk around strategies. We say you don't manage time. How many times have you actually sat down with a child and told them how to manage a time? Managing time is it's a basic principle. It is important, it's a basic principle. But because you don't have time, because you're pressed on time and effort, you're not able to give those kind of inputs to a child. So a parent has to proactively look into providing strategies to children. That is one. They also have to now see, in today's time, children are very smart. They are being exposed to a lot of information too soon. So it is important for us to, to change or to shift gears from being their managers to being their consultants. Of course, we can always tell them or we can guide them, but we should also maintain a healthy distance there. If you're maintaining a healthy distance, what you're trying to do is you're trying to help them solve a problem on their own. Of course, you're there to help them if they kind of make a mistake. So that kind of, I think a parent need to shift gears at just the right time. Apart from that, there are a lot of conflicts which happen for a child. If you look at our young adults today, there are whole, there's so much about their physical, psychological, sociological, a lot of factors which are affecting them.
Teenage, they have those hormonal changes that taking place.
Yeah, and this is very difficult for a child to manage. When we look at it from the outside, we say everybody's gone through a phase, but not everybody is able to accommodate or adjust to the same levels. So we've got to be particularly clear about that. And apart from that, there's so much from media coming, globalization, different stereotypes which are repetitively being shown on television. So all this is actually adding to all the stress. So as a parent, it is so important to help manage their external, what you call that, external problems that they have around peer group, about growing up, about a lot of stuff. So they have to be helping them sorting that to quite an extent. Or if they can't do it, if they don't have the resources, a lot of people available today who can actually, guide them, motivate them, support them with some real cutting edge technologies and strategies. Then a child also talks so much to themselves. So there are a lot of internal conflicts going on. So those internal conflicts are evident from their the way they behave, the way they talk around stuff. A parent can easily be picking up pointers around it. They can offer solutions. If they can't, of course they can. I think talking makes a lot of sense. So if your house is having a free flow conversation, so those conversations or discussions where a child is not taken as a child but as equal participant, I think that would also be very effective.
Yeah, these days kids are very smart. They don't want to be taken as someone you're talking down them, rather than talking to them and discussing things and treating them like adults. Like, so these days, like a 14, 15-year-old should not be considered as a child, and just like a
that's the more reason for a parent to imbibe new strategies, new techniques, new ways, and to move away slightly from their usual, patterns of communication. So there's so much available, and I think a parent has to change equally, because children today are much more smarter. They are not the followers mindset; they are the leaders mindset. And to kind of handle that, we've got to be changing a few strategies back at home. So it has also been seen, a lot of researchers, that parents have a very positive impact, an equally positive, effect on their child as compared to the peers. And this can only happen when the parent has a positive parent-child relationship. So when I say positive parent-child relationship, it starts building up pretty early in life. You cannot simply not work on it and then one fine day you suddenly want it. It doesn't happen like that. So while our children are still growing up, we've got to be building some very nice beliefs, some positive beliefs, and they cannot be built artificially. They are there in you. So as a parent, when you improve, you have certain positive areas or positive beliefs. I'm sure you will talk around them, you will manifest them in real life, and your child will pick it up from there. So be role models, as they say, is very important. It's very important to have right beliefs, right outlook, and taking things in perspective.
Cool. This was about parents, and what you suggest to students, like how they should cope up with their failure. It's prepare themselves for the failure, because you know what, they don't know what the thing is. Like, if this doesn't get done, then that's the end of life. But there are maybe better alternatives. Maybe if this girl couldn't clear her NEET and she lived, maybe she could be some other alternative career. She could have done really, really good in that. But
correct,
they should be aware of.
I'll tell you something.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something. What happens is, children today are blessed. Why I say so? They have a lot of resources available to them. If you look at the kind of apps they have on their phone, there's so much information already available. If they can spend just a little bit more time on apps which are educational in nature, which are strategy oriented in nature, or they can even go and enroll for some training sessions. Like my own company provides some sessions on life skills, attitudes, communication, all these. So the reason behind this is to proactively prepare them. So apart from that, there are a lot of diagnostic tools available, and children can even help take care of these diagnostic tools. They can help get themselves assessed on personality, on intelligence, and they can chalk out a career plan for them. So there are people, experts, and who are handling this. Even my company handles this. So apart from this, I think learning strategies, learning right beliefs, auto-suggesting themselves that yes, they can manage. These are the things which they have to initially be taught. And once they learn that, I'm sure they'll be able to use it also. If you look at their, how they see the world, their world the map of the world is very intense, because they're very young. The experiences are limited and they're still growing. So if you look at all those things, yes, they have limited resources, but acquiring those resources has become even more easy for them. Just sitting in their room, they can access the net and get into some nice videos on time management and a lot of other stuff that they want to learn. So I think it's just about telling them, or they being wanting it, and it is available.
So Pragatti, I'm provoked to say this. Is it just okay to say to myself, It's okay if I fail. It's okay
Uh,
if I don't do well. It's okay. Life is not coming to an end.
See, if you look at it, Himanshi, we all have learned it now to say
Yeah.
something like that. But if
Mm.
our children can learn it a little early, that's leadership. That's something where they can take charge. So when, there's so many times a parent would not look at failure in the right way. They
Yeah.
think failure means there's some problem with my child or some problem with my effort. So when
Yeah.
you are doing that, you are actually telling the child failure is not acceptable.
Mm.
Whereas for a child to accommodate all these, severe changes or conflicts can only happen when you talk around failure is okay. Failure is a feedback. So if we failed, let's sit down and analyze where we failed, what can we do better next time. I
Yeah.
think this is what is required. If parents can be a little more liberal around failures and they do not wear their children as their medals, a lot of things will be sorted.
Oh, yeah. Given that mental health is very expensive in India and it's approachable by only a few people, who are rich and who are well educated. What
Correct.
are the other resources people can just get their hands on, or if they are having distress or depression or anxiety? So, are there any resources available in public domain?
No, I agree. I agree with you that mental health is slightly on the costlier side. It's available in only the best of places and not in the rural or the tier 2 cities or tier 3 cities. It's not that affordable, and then there's a stigma attached to it. Even if
Yeah.
it is there, people do
Yeah.
not want to approach mental health specialists
Mhm.
due to multiple reasons, and which are very obvious in India. So what they do is they would brush it under the carpet, saying, "Oh, it's just a small problem." But we
Yeah.
should not forget that this small problem actually culminates into something this big as a suicide or a depression. To
Yeah.
tell you honestly, I have been talking to a lot of children, and the number one problem that is cropped up in these days is anxiety around performance. So imagine anxiety is even way ahead of depression in
Anxiety.
times
Yeah.
these days.
Yes.
So anxiety, if it is not treated for long, it
Mhm.
actually culminates into depression. With depression, finally, you know how it culminates into serious things like suicides. So if you look at anxiety, anxiety is nothing but a response of an individual around a lot of things. There was a girl who's extremely perfectionist. She wants perfect score in SAT. And imagine this girl talking around so much of anxiety that she's not able to sleep well, eat well, and she's having nightmares and a lot of other stuff. So this child has to be assisted in making healthy choices of thinking, healthy choices of managing her schedules. So as far as when this child, half of the time the parent would say it's just a simple problem, no worries, you carry on. But then they've got to understand that all those strategization has to happen at this point. If we kind of nip it in the bud, it won't lead to such alarming proportions as suicide. So it has to be proactive rather than preventive or curative.
What's your final appeal to all the students who are appearing or about to appear in their nearby future entrance exam or board exams? What do you have to say to them?
I have only
Right
one thing
away.
to tell them. I
Mm.
am super impressed with today's generation, the way these people adapt to technology, new information, knowledge, thought processes. Hats off to them, for they have been blessed with all this. The only thing now they have to take care of is how to take life in the right spirit. Just
Mm.
live and seek help. It is not that difficult. And because they're intelligent enough, they have better choices. They have better access to a lot of resources like internet, media, and a lot of other stuff. They can always proactively engage into certain behaviors where they learn a few strategies on a regular basis.
Mhm.
Just the way they access their Insta stories and other things, they can always access these beautiful things as well, which are available on the net.
Mhm.
Apart from this, I need to tell them that things like meditation, when I say meditation, it's simply about sitting down and centering yourself. It's not about going into some altered state of consciousness. So meditation, breathing, um, uh, and most importantly, auto suggesting themselves that yes, this is manageable, I can do. And believe me, it's not just creating a euphoria around performance, it's also creating a very beautiful non-fearful world. So today's children must understand that if the competition has increased, opportunities have also gone up tremendously. So you need not be doctor and engineer only. There are a lot of things which are now available, which were not even on the radar some years back. So
Yeah.
that way, if you look at it, yes, they have multiple, huge amount of opportunities available. They should simply believe in themselves, and they should also always have, a plan B as well.
Yeah.
One single plan would not be effective.
Thank you so much, Pragati, for your valuable advice. And we hope that all the students will be able uh, to to get these into their hearts and soul, and the parents are also able to help their children. Thank you so much for joining us for the discussion.
Thank you,
Thank
Himanshi.
you
It's
all
a
the
pleasure
viewers.
being here.
Yes, and thank you to all the viewers being with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.